Now, let's look at some of the rules within the police service. You have inherited a certain backlog that you must deal with, sir. Can we put that up, please? Good. Now, the Ghana Police Service Regulations 2012, CI 76, clothing allowance. An officer of the Criminal Investigation Department is entitled to a clothing allowance of 10% of that officer's basic monthly salary at the end of each month. That's section 49. Duty allowance, section 50. An officer is entitled to 40% of that officer's basic monthly salary as duty allowance at the end of the month. And then height allowance. Height allowance. An officer whose duty involves climbing heights of 30 meters or more is entitled to receive an allowance of 20% of that officer's basic monthly salary a day for any day that the officer climbs the height and the climbing is certified by the officer's immediate senior officer. Akocho. Ufrudiapa. Any height allowance. And then there is entertainment allowance. The Inspector General, Deputy Inspector General, scheduled officers, regional and divisional commanders are entitled to 10% of monthly basic salary as entertainment allowance. Risk allowance. An officer is entitled to 33 1/3% of that officer's basic monthly salary as risk allowance, and this allowance is payable at the end of each month. Market premium. An officer with the requisite professional qualification who discharges duties pertaining to that profession shall be paid market premium at levels that may be agreed, etc., blah, blah, blah. Now, I ask a simple question. There's transport allowance, there's subsistence allowance, right? There's subsistence allowance. There's kilometric allowance. Let me explain that to you. An officer who travels in a personal vehicle in a discharge of official duties shall be paid a kilometric allowance at the rate approved by the minister responsible for finance. There's responsibility allowance. The Inspector General, a Deputy Inspector General, a Director General, or regional commander is entitled to that 40% of that officer's basic monthly salary as responsibility allowance. For the purpose of this regulation, a director is a senior officer in charge of any of the directorates under regulation. A regional commander is a senior officer who is in charge of a police region or any other police unit or sector. Please come to me. Now, we say, oh, the police is corrupt. Members of the security institutions are corrupt. You see the allowances I've read to you. I've just read a portion of it, not all. Rent allowance, all of those. I've not finished reading everything. All these allowances, if you go into the books now and you call the next officer and ask them a question, they will tell you most of these allowances are in arrears. So if I'm not endorsing that, but I'm saying that if they have to go to work and they have to perform professionally and they are not paid that, where would they be collecting the money from? You. Or they will collect it from you. You see the height allowance. He has gone to climb the height and come down. 6 months down the line, has not been paid. When he meets you, after coming down and meets you, you are committing, he will collect from you. It's as simple as that. We must not create the avenue for our people to be corrupt. And that is one of the things that the Ghana Police Service officers expect that the new IGP will fix. As I speak to you, prisons, police, fire service, immigration, rent allowance is owed to officers as I speak. It's in arrears, where they have to put their heads to sleep together with their families. It's in arrears. And the officers did not wake up one day to say, give us arrears. It is contained in the CI. It is contained in the law. that governs the conduct of the police and the police service. It is in a law. I just read to you what do you call it? Ghana Police Service Regulations 2012, CI 76. I just read to you. It is in the law. So if it is in the law, you will jump all these allowances, not pay them, but then when they offend the same law for misconduct or something else, you are quick to apply the law. The system itself is not fair to the people that are supposed to be benefiting from the system or be partaking in the system. That same CI 76 has rules and regulations for how policemen should conduct themselves. If those policemen fail to, say, dress properly, be at work on time, in subordination, etc., they will be dealt with according to that law. But then in that same law, that says give them their allowances, give them allowance A, allowance B, C, D, E, F, G, H. We don't pay them those ones, but we are quick to apply the other ones, the other sanctions that apply to their conduct. Are we being fair? Are we being fair? So sometimes you meet a policeman who is grumbling. He's not grumbling because he doesn't like you. He's grumbling because you have kept quiet about the system treating him unfairly. Meanwhile, they see their superiors enjoying. And they down there do not find a reason to enjoy. That's why I told IGP Yohunu that, look, the people are rejoicing today because they think that once you are in, you will be able to fix those challenges that they have. And that goes to DG Patience Bafo-Boni as well. That goes to you as well, madam. Your staff, the personnel, they are watching, they are looking. Because all the things that they saw as wrong in the previous administration, they expect that with a magic wand, you will turn things around. It is up to you to let them know that, look, Rome was not built in a day, and that this is the extent of the... Usually when people take over in security services and other places, they are scared to tell the public that, oh, no, this is what we took over. No, you should be honest enough to tell the people, this is what I have inherited. Tell them whose axe is God. Tell them this is what I inherited. And this is what I'm going to deal with. So please pardon me. Give me a little time to settle in. Like the situation at the EPA. People kept quiet because they were afraid that they would be victimized for a long time. People who were due for promotion over 10-year period, 8-year period, 6-year period, they kept quiet about their promotions. Because if you talk, they will transfer you. So everybody was quiet. Suddenly, there's a new person who wants to push everything down this road. Of course, I didn't like the approach of the police and all of that being involved. But it tells you the kind of shut-up system that we have created for ourselves. So people have problems with their unions. They can't even go to their union leaders. They have to come to Johnnie Hughes on Johnny's Bite for him to talk about it. Can you imagine? When children in my beloved Tamale, for example, may not have furniture to learn with, so I have to be advocating for that. Then I'm adding other... Charlie.